I'm a city worker here in New Orleans. I'm in tier 6, lies. I'm in tier 4, which means we do something called 25-55. You work 25 years and or you're 55 years old. You can retire and get your full pension. I'm a few years away from that, but wondering like if I did not want to wait till the age of 55, what I need to be thinking about to be out earlier.
Things that you want to consider is say, okay, what am I going to get from the government, from Social Security? So you could go, just calculate what you would get from Social Security, obviously figure out what your pension number is. And so all in your savings and other 403B, right? You figure out what that is. And then you say, okay, what do I need to have in order to, continue to live the life that I want to live? But I think, when I'm talking to younger people, it's like by the time you get to 30, from a retirement standpoint, to know that you're on track, you want to have 1 times your salary. When you get to 40, you want to have like 3 times your salary, away, saved and invested. 50 is, I want to say 6 times your salary. And then 60 is like 7. And then once you get to the retirement age of 60, 65 or whatever, then you want to have a full 10 times your salary. And that's kind of, the way to think about it. But the easiest way to say, okay, what are my annual expenses, and work backwards.
All right, guys, I get asked this question a lot, like, how can I know when I'm ready for retirement, or actually how much money do I need for retirement? So let's actually look at this, right? Let's look at, obviously, the home team, the Yahoo Finance email, but literally just last month, it came out that you need nearly $1.5 million to retire. And here's how I really want to break that down. Everything is predicated on just how much your annual expenses are. As you get closer to retirement, hopefully you're no longer paying for that house, like I said. And so I told her about the 25 times rule. The idea is saying that we're going to take 25 times your annual expenses. And the idea is that you're going to invest that money and only withdraw 4% a year. And that's how you get to that number. So the reason people think you need 1.5 is because they're saying that they're spending $60,000 a year. Once again, kind of the average, right? The average income, right? The median income in America is, I want to say, less than 60,000. So the idea is maybe you don't really need 1.5, and the way we truly break that down. But let's actually say what this 4% rule is, right? If we were to take 1.6 million and we multiply that by 0.04, that's saying you need 64,000 a year, and you divide that by 12, meaning you would have roughly $5,300 a month to allocate to your expenses. And so once again, the older you get, the idea is literally, hopefully your expenses are actually coming down. Maybe your house is fully paid off. Guess what? That is your biggest expense on an annual basis. Maybe you have a car that is fully paid off. And so maybe you don't really need 1.5 million in your nest egg. And another good way, and this is my app actually, Ask Mac, which will be available to the world pretty soon. But nonetheless, you start getting a sense of exactly how you project this. And in this instance, this is the monthly income goal. So we can work backwards. If we're literally saying how much monthly income in retirement. So rather than 5,000, say you're home, all you're doing is paying taxes, right? Maybe you don't need 4,000. Maybe you only need, maybe you don't need 5,000. Maybe you only need 4,000, right? Well, guess what? You'll only need 1.2 million. Say you're a month though, say it's 3,000, right? Now you only need 900,000, right? And there's so many things that go into this, but the goal, and this is taking into account of 35, retiring at 65, right? I'm starting with 25,000. I'm investing $1 million per month. But in terms of what your needs are, it's really predicated on what your expenses are. And that's the easiest way. So when it comes to retirement, if you start saying, as I get closer to retirement, I want to live within my means. Now I'm cutting out big expenses, right? Say you have kids and you had a big house, maybe you downsize, right? You've built up 20 years of equity in this big home. Now maybe all you need is just a 2-bedroom condo, right? Now you're able to downsize. The goal is to, as you get older, in order to truly hit a retirement age, your retirement number, all you have to do is lower those expenses. But once again, the biggest thing is saying, I'm going to invest my money and I'm only going to withdraw 4%. So each year your money's being invested. And guess what? It's kicking off tax-free 4 or 5% if you can live off that.